So,
Okay.
yeah, go on.
So I was trying to. Okay. Wait. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So context. So I just recently found out that the Teletubbies were British. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was a British production. I don't know why. I just assumed it was American. Sorry, Dice. And then I started talking about how back in the day when people were trying to cancel Teletubbies because it was gay, and because specifically Tinky Winky.
Quick Tinky Winky Google.
That was a big
Tinky Winky.
Tinky.
All right.
That was a very specific period in history.
Okay, the purple one. All right. For anybody at home that doesn't know, Tinky Winky is the purple one
The
with
purple
a
one
triangle
with
on the
the
top
triangle,
of its head.
which okay.
Why is that
Right,
one
because
super gay?
that was a lesbian thing. Or was it just a
Okay.
gay thing?
I see Tinky
I think it
Winky
was just a
wearing
gay
a
thing.
tutu.
Okay. Because there
Yeah,
was
Tinky
there's the
Winky does wear
Weezer
tutu.
song, Pink Triangle, famously about
Anyway,
falling in love with a lesbian.
Tinky.
Letters L.
Listen closely. Tinky Winky. Okay.
Doing a great job.
Listen to me.
Oh wait, let me get a new page ready.
Twinkie Winky. Tinky Winky, you take out Tinky.
I can't understand a word
You
you're
take out the
saying.
inky, so it's
Yeah.
just TW. Okay, all right. It's we're playing a little sketch here.
Oh my god. Anyway,
W.
I think Tinky Winky's supposed to be a twink. Anyway, that was my conspiracy theory.
That was your conspiracy. That's a good conspiracy theory.
I think the right was correct, and they are gay. He's gay.
Right was correct.
Categorically lacks every defining characteristic of a twink.
Okay, but he's a baby. It's because he hasn't grown into it yet.
That's not a thing.
Is the baby British?
The sun baby? Yes. The sun baby is presumably British. What's all babies?
Tinkle Winkle was a baby?
No, but the sun is an actual baby's face.
The sun is a baby. They're all babies.
Sure, but like the sun is a human baby.
Sure, but they're all babies.
Are we all on the same call right now? Can everybody hear each other?
Anyway,
we're
all
all
I'm going to say is the right was right, okay? Tinky Winky was gay. Because he's going to grow up to be a twink.
We claim him. He's ours now.
He's ours. Tinky Winky is in the name, okay?
Hey, everybody.
That's all I had to say.
A moral of the story, Julia can never leave. Thanks so much for joining us. If you've never caught us before, this is Live from the Apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that makes actual play content like streams and podcasts to raise money for nonprofits and aid organizations and other important causes like that. And we're currently raising money for Rainbow Railroad, which is a very good and important nonprofit that seeks to get LGBTQ individuals like Tinky Winky, but especially in these unfortunate times, trans individuals out of unsafe living situations, whether that be a different state or a different city or just out of an unsafe place. So if you like what you see here, we just ask that instead of subscribing to the channel or giving us bits or any of the normal stuff proxied by Bezos, you take the $5 or the $6 or whatever you would have given us. There is no expectation, whatever you can spare, and you give it directly to Rainbow Railroad instead of to us, because we just play games on the internet and they do very good and important work. Yeah. So please do that. If you want, there is a donate button where the subscribe button should be. We have hidden the subscribe button. Seek it at your own peril. And if you are able to locate it, we cannot stop you from subscribing. Just be aware that if you do, beloved Dimension 20 Dungeon Master Brennan Lee Mulligan will kill a dog. He will murder one dog for every month that you have been subscribed to this channel. Don't do it, maybe. Maybe just give to Rainbow Railroad instead.
If you're on the lookout to like take out dogs, though, it's a really good deal. It's just my
Yeah, I mean, that's
you get
true.
an
Great
extra
deal.
dog for
It doesn't
every
get
time.
much better than that. Let's be honest. And all of that being said, I think we're still in the TTRPGs category. We are. Let me just update that real quick. We're having a time. Having a time tonight.
I appreciate that you tagged Ohio.
I always tag
At
Ohio.
I never noticed that before.
That's incredible.
I always tag Ohio.
Can you please tag Tinky Winky?
I can't.
So,
I really
fun
can't.
fact about Tinky Winky: 10 feet tall. What the fuck? 10
Yeah, they're
feet
huge.
flat.
No. No.
Yes,
10 feet flat.
canonically.
You are a sick son of a.
10-3 in heels.
10-3 and 5 inch heels.
Cheers to that. That's what happens.
Tinky Winky controversy is not something I thought I would read.
I don't.
Go ahead, X out of that wiki. Don't need that in my mind
Yep.
right now.
Yep. That's what happens if you subscribe. And other than that, there are channel points, there are emotes, there's all the normal Twitch stuff if you want to use it. But this is Class Reunion. This is a game that we play every other week here on the channel. It is a 5e homebrew game about a group of high school students from Ohio who have been trapped in a fantasy world for 10 years and separated from each other and fairly recently reunited to discover the purpose of their destiny and the reason they were brought here in the first place. Along the way, they have done many other things, like liberate a capitalist necropolis and stop a uprising of horrible extra-dimensional worm creatures, and now, most recently, attempting to kill political figures. So that's where we are. That's our story in progress. That's where we're going to rejoin it. But first, we'll go around and everybody will tell you a little bit about who they are and who they are playing. Unfortunately, as you can probably tell, Julia is not with us tonight, which means we will be lacking Kelly Violet, arguably the angel on the shoulder of this collective group. And with all that being said, I think we will begin with JD.
You expect me to talk after all of that? Raph, just remember, this is immortalized forever on the internet. You're
I
welcome.
hope so.
It was beautiful. Hi, I am JD. In this game, I play Hunter, our ranger, and everything is fine with them. Everything's great. Nothing bad is about to happen. They are not going to assassinate a political figure. We're good.
We're good. Bonum est, as some might say. And Raph.
Hi, I'm Raph. I'm playing Max Miller. What happened last time with Max? Max is just chilling, living in blissful ignorance, still a little sweepy, still a little eepy. Just hanging out outside, hanging out with Kelly and Wayne and Borkus. Just chilling.
Just chilling. Having a normal one.
Just having a very normal one.
Having a very normal one. And we'll show you Kelly real quick. There's the beautiful
Look at
Kelly
that
art.
character
that we
Moment of
are-
silence
Oh
for
my
moment of
God.
Moment of
silence.
silence for our dearly departed
Holy moly.
rogue/cleric hybrid. I wonder if I was going to say hi. I'm Julia. I'm the local Delaware cryptid. Play in this
Yes!
game. I play Kelly Violet, the terrible rogue/cleric hybrid, former highwayman, and she is awful and having a time. And that's it. Other than that, you can find me lurking in the Discord, or I do be whiling on Twitter.
Incredible.
She's not doing awful.
It
Her
was like
fiancé is
Julia
here.
was there.
Yeah, I mean,
it really was.
I've heard it a lot. I could probably do everybody's, honestly, at this point.
Really?
Wayne.
I want to see that.
Hey, it's me, your boy Corey. I play Wayne Hovacek, greatest Gritsky player of all time. Retired on top. May be coming out of retirement, unless our dear friend Hunter kills Mansardane right now. But if not, there may be a bit of a contentious battle for the ownership of the league. But for right now, just hanging out, assuming everything is going good behind a closed door.
We're grilling.
I'm making a grilled cheese right now.
We're actually having a darty outside.
little darty.
A little darty.
I'm ready to go on hard on a darty, but I don't know what that means.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm ready to
Darty?
hop on the train.
It's a day
No, is
party.
Little
Oh.
day party.
Okay.
A little day
all right.
party. A little
Can't
darty.
party all day if you
Okay.
don't start in the day.
Is that a UK thing or
What?
it feels
Oh,
like
the UK
it?
people aren't that cool.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
all right.
Absolutely not.
Hi, hello. My name is Will. I run this game, and I'm one of the GMs and the organizers here at Live from the Apocalypse. And I do a bunch of other stuff that I'll probably plug at the end, I guess. But I play everybody else in this particular game. So, with all that being said, I think we're pretty ready to dive on into it. And if you recall, we left off at a very important moment. Very critical moment. Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
you had been summoned to the Council of Calderon as a witness to testify towards something. You weren't really told what, just that you were summoned. And once you arrived there, you were pretty immediately injected into the middle of a conversation about the people known as the Orn, the very pacifistic, for the most part, forest-dwelling people with an innate connection to the planet itself, who you were kind of raised by ever since you first stumbled through that portal as a teenager and were trapped in a noon. The conversation was regarding some incidents that had taken place, or at least that's what it sounded like. And when you were summoned and called to speak, your old friend, Mansardane, recently a member of the Council of Calderon, rounded on you and demanded to know if the stories of the Orn's ferocity, shall we say, delicately, were exaggerated or not. Because there were many legends like that, but pretty much all of them steeped in prejudice and unfair propaganda. And unfortunately, at that moment, you felt a sort of scrabbling at the edge of your mind. And you kind of felt you felt your anger rising like it did on the hillside not that long ago. And the longer Mance talked, the angrier and the angrier you found yourself getting. Until you almost couldn't contain it anymore. And at that moment, you made a charisma saving throw, which you failed. And when we left off, you had leapt across the table from the patch of bark-like skin that covers parts of your body from the ritual that you underwent when you were living among the Orn to bond with the Orn Ak, the spirit of the earth itself. You looked down and you noticed thorns growing from it, dripping a sickly green caustic substance. When we paused, I told you that you were going to have to make an attack roll for primal savagery.
Yes, you did. Shall I do that right now?
I think you should.
Primal savagery. At least it sounds badass.
I mean, the cantrip, primal savagery, it is pretty sick. It is pretty sick. You grow spikes and you what's that face?
Yes.
What's that face?
It's a happy face if I've ever seen one.
Hey, do we want the good news or do we want the bad news?
I'm very interested how there can be both.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're the same thing, probably. What is the bad news?
No, I'm going to start with the good news.
Okay,
the
cool,
good
yeah.
news is that Amherst Dice continues to live up.
Oh. Did you roll a natural 20?
So I now have to ask a question that I've never had to ask before because I've never rolled a nat 20 in an attack roll.
Oh my god.
What happens?
So you double the
stuff.
damage dice.
Double all dice roll.
Yeah.
Double all dice.
Yep.
Okay, this is fine.
Don't double the
Yeah.
bonuses, but do double the dice.
Listen, the dice tell the story, and the dice are right. The
The
dice
dice
chose
do be telling the story.
The dice are hungry.
The dice are hungry.
Okay. The dice are not as hungry as they could have been.
Gotcha.
That
Damn those
is just 20 points of acid damage.
Okay.
20 points.
20 points of acid damage.
How much life does Mance have?
Is he like a commoner?
Is he a commoner? Does he have 4 points?
So, the primal savagery dice that you roll, is it 2d10?
Yep.
And so you rolled 4d10,
Mhm.
and you got 20. Okay,
I
cool.
got 20.
Did you add anything to that? Because I do believe you add your spellcasting modifier. No, I'm probably wrong about that. Actually, that's not usually
Yeah,
how
there is
cantrips
no
work.
modifier
Okay,
attached.
cool. All right, so just 4d10, just a straight cool 4d10 for 20 points of damage.
Incredible.
Very, very incredible. I will give you that. You, Hunter, you kind of become aware. You come back to your senses far too late to stop, and you did not even really want to stop because you are so mad, you are so angry, and you hate Mansardane. At this moment, maybe more than you've hated anyone ever. I wonder, an honest question.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you hate Mansardane,
Do I hate him as much as as I hate myself? No, probably not.
that's an interesting question, but as much as you hate Mansardane, when you look across the table, everything's kind of in slow motion. Your arm is cocked back. Those spikes are growing out of it. You can see people around you reacting. You can see mouths opening in shock and surprise. You can see what looks like, you can see Mirden, who looks like maybe he's starting to chant something, maybe try to cast a spell. You can see, you can see Lord Corvid Blackwing not really reacting or moving in any way, just kind of sitting in his chair, like fingers steepled in front of him. But when you look across the table and you see Mance, I would ask you, with the understanding that your symbiote is trying to make you as angry as possible, is it Mansardane's face that you see? Or is there someone you hate more than Mansardane?
I think it is blurring between Mance and Simon. Because I think Hunter hates them both equally for very different reasons.
Yeah, I think that's very fitting. And you, your arm is cocked back already. You see Mance's face open and shocked in surprise. You see that blur. And you see Simon's very handsome face in his place with a smug look on his face. And then you lash out. And the spikes growing out of your arm, dripping this caustic liquid, go across Mansardane's throat, burning as they go, leaving a trail of burning acid. Some of the drops splatter onto the table of the council, beyond him, onto the walls. Tapestry is sort of burning holes through them. Mance's hands go up to his throat as blood starts to well out. The acid starting to eat away at the skin on his hands and his neck, even as he does so. Your eyes meet. And then everything comes crashing back to reality. Everything, time starts to resume its speed. People start reacting more and more quickly. And you're kind of like, you come back to your senses. The anger starts to fade from you. And it leaves behind this kind of strange, like, numbness, almost, or confusion might be more accurate, because you look around from where you are crouched in the middle of the table. You look down. You see the horrified expressions on people's faces. You see people starting to rise to their feet, heads turned as they call for aid. And you look down at these spikes growing out of your Ornok, dripping acid, but now also dripping Mansardane's blood. And time comes crashing back to full speed. People are shouting, standing to their feet, backing away from you, backing away from the table. Mance collapses back into his chair and then slides to the ground. Mirden finishes casting his spell. You hear the last few syllables ring out, and your body freezes in place, unable to move. And I think everything around you kind of starts to swim. And you don't know what it is or what's happening, but everything around you is going dark. And I think the last thing you see before the lights go out is Mansardane lying on the ground in a pool of his own blood with a blackened throat wound. Max and Wayne. From where you were standing outside of the door.
Yes, chef.
From where you were standing outside of the council chambers, you hear screams.
Yeah, I think we were busting.
Yeah, definitely. We burst up the door.
Definitely.
It's not locked, right?
Mm-mm. Nope, not locked.
I think also weapon out, like just in case.
Yeah. Can I bust open the door and make like a perception check? Like what the hell is going on right now?
Sure.
Mm.
What is your passive perception? Let me ask you that.
Passive perception is a 9.
Okay, cool.
Bat
What?
9.
Mine's a 10. Let's go.
My God. Sitting over here at a 21.
When you burst through the doors, you can see what is happening. Are you trying to discern like more detail? Like, are you looking for anything in particular? I guess would be my question.
Who attacked Mance? I would imagine, because I doubt like, oh, Hunter just tried to kill Mance. I'm probably thinking, okay, Mance is on the ground bloodied. Who's the perpetrator here? Where's the assassin?
Yeah, I mean, I think even with a 9, it's pretty hard to miss Hunter, who is kind of frozen, crouched on the table, not moving at this point, but with these spikes growing out of their arm that are dripping drops of acid and blood.
I think Max goes just head straight to Hunter. Absolutely 100%.
I assume the blood is Hunter's. I run in, like, lay on hands ready, like.
Yeah.
So you run in with your you run in ready to lay on hands. I think I'll even say I think like when you both run in, you see Mirden standing on the far side of the table, and he'll meet your gaze. His eyes look wide. His eyes are he looks surprised for, I think, maybe the first time that you have ever seen. Well, there goes Raph. He'll be back. Mirden's eyes look surprised for the first time that any of you have ever seen. And he's not going to stop you from doing anything. There is too much general chaos going on around you for him to really interject or do anything. But Wayne, you reach out to try to heal Hunter. What does your lay on hands look like again?
I imagine it to be like wounds kind of just like ice over, and then by the time they like crack away, they're just gone.
Cool. And when you do that, we don't usually lose JD. That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be back.
When you reach out to try to heal Hunter, nothing happens. I think you realize at that point that Hunter is not hurt, and when you look down, you feel I think you feel a sort of a tug on your arm, or rather, I think maybe you are bodily sort of spun away from Hunter, and it is the head of the Council of Calderon facing you. And he has this wide, panicked look in his eyes, and he says, if you can heal. And he will gesture down to Mance lying on the ground and say, you must save his life.
Yeah, of course. Kind of without question, even though it's Mansardé, I run over and hands around neck, almost like I'm choking him, but kind of like in a movie where someone gets like a big hole in their neck and you're like, oh shit, and just getting like sprayed with Mance blood and acid.
Just the 1 point.
I just pump lay on hands into him. I mean, it's a pretty drastic situation. However many he needs, he gets.
He doesn't have that many hit points.
Stop fucking biting me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you pump some lay on hands healing magic into Mansardane, and the wound on his neck ices over. He falls unconscious. He is drained. He looks pale. He looks wan. But he had this like panicked expression on his face, as you might expect, eyes like very wide, kind of trying to like gasping for breath. And he seems to breathe easier as your ice encloses his wound, and he slips away into what looks like a very merciful unconsciousness.
As he's falling asleep, where there's like that wild eye is like transitioning into like unconsciousness, I just like hold both of his eyes open for a second. I'm like, "You owe me! Don't ever forget, you owe me!" And he's just like and then like as people are looking at, like slowly close his eyes, like he's dead.
I mean, his eyes do close when he loses consciousness. He is not dead, but
But it's not too loud. I'm like whispering in his
Sure.
in his open eyes.
Sure. Okay, a very normal thing to do.
Very normal.
You owe me.
Amazing.
You owe me. Shh, shh. Sleep now. Be at
Hush
peace.
now.
He's just
Max.
unconscious. Everybody. He's good.
Some-
Don't
there-
worry.
There's some audible sighs of relief around the room. Max, what are you doing? Well, Wade is doing that.
Yeah, I don't think Max even notices Mance is there. Max is just going to run straight to Hunter and try to get them out, because whatever is happening, like Max, no comprehension to what is going on except for get out. So yeah, I think trying to like grab onto Hunter's arm and like shake them and or try to pull them out of whatever state he thinks they're in.
You can like touch Hunter, you can shake Hunter, but Hunter does not respond. And as you are doing that, you hear a voice in your head. Are you about to disappear? Yep. Okay. Well,
Oh.
I don't know.
Second.
There's a blip. Okay, cool. You good?
We're all good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So as you are like shaking Hunter, but Hunter is not responding, you hear a voice in your head, which you recognize as Mirdan's voice. If you look over at him, he's not moving. He's kind of like leaning on the edge of the table, but his eyes do dart over and meet yours as he is apparently speaking to you magically in your head. And he says, he says, they will not be able to respond to you.
Why not? Who did this?
I did it.
Why? Let them go.
They tried to kill Mansardane.
So?
Just use your head for 1 second, Max. Does that sound like something Hunter would do?
And I think Max looks over at Hunter. What is Hunter's expression right now?
Ooh, interesting question. At the time when Hunter would have been paralyzed by the spell, JD, I'll leave this up to you. What did Hunter's expression look like?
I think there is a mixture of anger still on their face, but it is there alongside that dawning horror of what just happened. But the anger's definitely not gone. And I don't think you've ever seen them look angry in this way.
Mm-mm. I think Max kind of looks over at Hunter and then turns back to Mirrodin. Speaking out loud, by the way, I don't know if he knows how to like use his brain. And just says, whatever happened, I'm sure they had a reason. You're right, Hunter doesn't do this.
And that is why I can't release the spell on them. Not until they're someone safe. Not until they're somewhere safe.
I can take them somewhere safe.
How will you know, Max?
How will I know what?
That they're safe? That they are themselves? Did you know that they were going to walk in here and do this?
No.
So you take them somewhere safe, quote unquote, and they come back to consciousness and they say that they are fine. And they say that they don't know what happened. But it is past now. And then in the middle of the night, they rip out your throat. What then?
We can figure it out.
We will figure it out.
Not in here.
No. There's not almost, there is sympathy in his voice as he says, no, Max, not in here.
Then where? I don't understand. Let me take him then.
And I think you can already start to hear the cries of alarm that have been spreading throughout Calderon Keep, and hear the pounding of footsteps as a group of lamplighters in full uniform
Don't.
start to come through the door.
Don't.
Are you talking to them?
I put my body in between Hunter and the lamplighters.
Yeah, I'm talking to I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to
Mirrodin?
yeah, Mirrodin. You can't let them. We literally just came from there. It's not safe.
If you try to stop them, Max, you will only be making things worse for Hunter.
I don't understand how putting them in jail will help them. We were just there. People were ripped apart.
It doesn't have to be jail, but it is going to be jail because they tried to assassinate a member of the council in front of everyone assembled.
But it clearly wasn't them, and you know that.
Clear to you, clear to me. Everyone else saw what they saw. If you try to fight all of the lamplighters, you won't be able to stay here, and we won't be able to figure out what happened. Just stop and think.
Not Max's specialty.
Please, he'll add.
I think
The lamplighters who have run in do hesitate when you both like interpose your bodies between them
yeah.
and Hunter. They look kind of confused, like not
Yeah.
confused. They look between each other, kind of like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah, I definitely have Gallows out.
I think I like shield or sheath my blade and kind of turn to Mirden and just say, "Is the situation handled? Are we at peace in this moment?"
And this time, Mirden will speak out loud and will say, "For now."
So I turn to the guards and say, "How about we all just chill the fuck out for a second, and we can talk about this? Because I know for a fucking fact Hunter isn't leaving this keep."
They don't make a move, but they do turn and they look towards the head of the council, Tamberly. And Tamberly, who is pretty young and pretty new to the position, looks kind of conflicted and definitely nervous. But he will, when the lamplighters look to him, he will say, and his voice is kind of shaking, but there's also kind of an edge of authority to it that says, "There is no recourse in this moment. We all saw it."
We just saved the city. Hunter just saved the city.
Better yet, how many people in their custody are now dead? Over the past couple of days are now dead. Here's my thought. All right. We keep Hunter under watch here. I'm not saying that there are no, repercussions here. If y'all want to stay in the castle keep and keep us all company, I think that's great. But I know for a fucking fact Hunter's not leaving this keep, because I don't know what y'all have been doing in your station, but it hasn't been helping out the city too much. So do we all just want to, hang out, have a little powwow about this?
Interesting. Wayne, make a diplomacy check or persuasion.
I will make a persuasion check, DM. I'll do exactly that. Oh, that's a 16 plus 6. I don't know why Wayne doesn't persuade people more often. I'm pretty good at it.
22 is very good. Very, very
Council
good.
member Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there might be an opening soon.
Hell yeah.
So, okay, yeah, 22. Councilman Tamberly seems to take your words into consideration. He sort of hesitates, and as you are doing that, I think a kind of from a place removed from the center of the action, another member of the council that you're familiar with, Marius Ingavir,
God damn it.
will also speak up and say, "I don't see a reason why this individual would need to be held in a conventional prison. Given the nature of these quirks and eyebrow heroes, can we really be confident that they can be contained by a regular prison?" And you see you see other members of the council starting to nod in agreement as he says that, sort of like, he says, "We have not come from Barrows unequipped. I believe we may have brought just the thing to keep Hunter safe until some determination of guilt can be made.
Absolutely not.
What do you suggest?
Wayne.
It is a simple object of containment. Harmless.
Like a genie bottle?
More like
Pokeball?
more like a room of invisible walls.
I mean, yeah, I'm game, but Wilt, I need you to check it out first. Make sure it's all above the board. There's a lot of fucked up things that have come out of Barrow. Before I put our friend in there, I want to make sure it's not gonna, I don't know, close in on him like an Iron Maiden, or teleport him to hell, or shoot him into space, or, you know.
We need Kelly. Where the fuck is Kelly?
Wilt, I'm sure you got some identifiable or, abilities to identify things.
Mirden's eyes kind of like go between you and Marius, but he will nod slowly in a way that like indicates to you that he realizes that he's kind of backed into a corner here. And Marius smiles, a toothy smile. And the Councilman Tamberley nods in return and says, "We find these terms to be agreeable in the short term, at least." And he kind of like raises a hand towards the lamplighters, who look relieved, I think, as they kind of like take a step back. And Councilman says, he keeps talking and says, "But the lamplighters will escort Hunter to the location of this object. And that is not
Where
negotiable."
is it?
Marius says, "It's in my quarters."
We're
We can
not
set
going
it
to
up
keep
anywhere.
Hunter in. Okay. Great.
Very well. And yeah, so I think with that being said, we are gonna say that after you made the journey up here to the chambers, Kelly did take like an opportunity at that point to step away because things seemed fine, to catch up with Edmund. So that's where Kelly is currently.
For sure.
For sure. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't ask questions.
Last time I missed a session, Will, you sent me to hell, so I'm a little concerned.
Well, I've done it. Yeah, I mean, Kelly's, missing like most of her soul. So I figured we just let her hang out with her boyfriend for a session.
What a nice, like, off-screen. Kelly hangs out with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Going on a date. They
Yeah.
hit the town.
That's all that's happening.
We just have some, like, functional romance, and that's so boring we can't have it on cam.
Exactly, yeah.
We have to have the dysfunctional going on.
We gotta
over here.
hand wave it.
Yeah.
Cut to black, the whole thing.
They're just having dinner, but like.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, but the lamplighters will I think end up actually probably picking up the table with Hunter on it, because the spell is kind of locking them in place and carrying it through the keep, which draws more than a few strange looks from people as you do so. There are a lot of passersby and onlookers who kind of whisper to each other this strange delegation, and you travel through the keep, down the stairs, I think towards... My guess is it probably would have been decided that you'd want to keep Hunter in their room, maybe. It's kind of up to you guys. What's your preference?
What do we keep them in your room, Max?
I feel like they would be more comfortable in theirs.
I just feel like it doesn't really matter too much how comfortable they are right now. Because, like, we leave them in their room and they, like, close the door, and then, like, you open the door and they're not there anymore. It seems like the kind of thing
I'm
that
gonna
would
be
happen.
there the whole time. I'm
I
not
guess
leaving
that's
it.
true. So essentially, we're leaving them in your room because their room is now your room.
But it's not my.
We're all on the same page here.
I didn't know we were reading.
So, the Hunter is brought to Hunter's room on the other side of the keep, brought down off the table, carried in. I think Marius meets you there. He doesn't overtly look like he is carrying anything, but he'll step into the room. I think at this point, because of the cramped conditions, it's just Mirden and the two of you and Hunter, obviously, and then Marius when he shows up. And he looks at where would you have put Hunter? On the bed?
Probably.
Okay.
Mhm.
They would have let you, Max, I imagine you would have wanted to carry Hunter in off of the
Yeah,
table.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. So you set Hunter down on the bed. Marius looks and says, "Is that where you want them?"
How does this work?
It's quite simple. He will produce from his pocket a small black object that kind of looks like it looks like a skeleton key, but it is made of some kind of black gemstone. It looks like jet black, almost like Vanta black, like it absorbs light. That's quite simple. I simply draw a very simple pattern on the ground, and that will define the confines.
You keep
using
saying
the word
simple.
simple, knowing that we don't think that this is simple. Mirden, Wilt, could you check this shit out? You gotta have some magic. Why don't you draw your own circle first, and then we'll draw a second circle.
Marius shrugs and holds the object out for Mirden to examine and says, "I realize that drawing may be a complicated subject for you all, but it is quite simple in my mind." And Mirden will take it and will examine it and kind of like...
While Mirden is examining it, I am drawing a picture, and I turn it around, and it's a middle finger.
I bump you.
And Marius like sort of chuckles, but it doesn't really touch his eyes and says, "See? Simple." And Mirden, who is like kind of gazing deep into the depths of this thing, you sort of see that Fanta black light kind of reflected in his eyes. And then finally he sort of like shakes his head, blinks a couple times, like rubs at the bridge of his nose and holds it back out and says, "It is not pleasant, but it does what he says it does."
Do you have
Marius
to
takes
be
it.
there? No. Do you have to be here? Any of
course
us
not.
could use it, right? It's simple.
How do we get him out?
You redraw the lines, but in reverse.
So we could do it.
Of course you can. Well, you did say it was a bit complicated.
Mirda can do it.
Sure. Why don't I give it to this fine artist right here? And he will hold it out to Wayne.
Absolutely, he'll take it.
Wayne will do it.
Yeah, obviously couldn't be that hard. It's quite simple.
Marius will
Quite
spread his
simple.
hands. Marius will spread his hands and then kind of like bring them together in front of him and like give you all a little bow and say, well, then my part is complete, I suppose. I'm just glad that I could help.
How many do you have?
Ooh, I would have to check.
Do they all work within each other?
I suppose you could, but they will not be getting out.
I'm not worried about that. And kind of just like looking, give him the stink eye and looking him up and down.
If there is a question on your mind, you only have to ask it.
Yeah, why do you stink?
All right. Well, thank you so much for your help. You have just been quality. We'll keep you posted on the status of the situation. Keep your ear to the ground, and we'll let you know.
My pleasure.
I don't
Marius
like
will
him.
take his leave.
When the door closes, Wayne kind of holds the key. Mirden, I have no fucking idea how to draw anything but a middle finger. I spent like a lot of time when I was bored in high school drawing middle fingers, but other than that, and like buff dudes. But other than that,
It can be a box or a circle or whatever you want. Just go from the wall to the other wall.
oh, sick, easy. Wayne draws a really big middle finger that goes from each wall to the other wall.
Wait,
And
before you close it,
Mm-hmm.
step in. I think Max is just going to whisper quietly. Probably not super quietly. Just say to Hunter, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do, but this is stupid and we're going to get you out of this. And everything's going to be fine. And I think going to just in case, cast protection from evil and good. And kind of like brush some hair out of their face. It's gonna be okay. And then yeah.
I forgot. Max, I can't I lost our mutual friend. So maybe if you want to try and read his brain or read their brain before we put them in the box.
Wayne, you are the smartest person I have ever met in my life.
You don't need to tell me twice. And it's like still in the middle of drawing a big middle finger.
you
Drawing like the nail. Some
don't-
fuzz.
don't do that.
Don't draw the middle finger.
Why
Don't
not?
connect with their brain right now.
Why?
You don't, because you don't know what made them do this. You don't know
We
what
could
is in
find out,
there or
right?
what might be in there. No, you
That's
would
a
be
good point.
opening a door. Connection goes two ways. If you open whatever is inside of Hunter up to you, you will also be open.
Could I then open it to someone else?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, but yeah. What? Stop trying to do things.
So
I have people in my head, okay?
I'm almost done with the hand. Do you want to give Hunter like a one last kiss on the forehead, or is there anything that you guys do when you say goodbye to each other that you don't do
God.
in front of people? I'll turn
This
away
isn't
if
a
you want.
this
I'll close
this
my
isn't a
eyes.
goodbye. This isn't a goodbye. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, Bill.
Runs over one last brush.
I'm gonna say if you want to kiss them on the forehead, you could do it, but then finishes the last line.
Mm-hmm. You finish the last line, and then the air above the where you have drawn it flashes like solid black, and then fades to transparency, like floor to ceiling flashes. That same sort of like light eating shade of black, and then fades to as if there was nothing there at all.
I imagine that Wayne, like Jughead, painted himself into the corner, and has to go like through the bathroom to go into the next room over, come back around.
Bold of you to assume that this castle has an adjoining bathroom, but
Well, here we are,
mhm.
theater of the mind.
So yeah, you can do that, and then the air fades to transparency, and you can see Hunter, and Mirden looks at both of you, but especially you, Max, and says, "Whatever they may say, I cannot release them. Not until we're sure. Not until we know what happened and why."
We'll figure it out.
I'm sorry. Their word is not going to be good enough, Max. You have to understand that. Do you?
I understand that something is there. And that might not be Hunter all the time. But like I said, we'll figure it out.
Can I do a divine sense? Is there anything about Hunter that is celestial, fiend, or undead?
Nope.
Okay. Smells good to me.
Yeah.
Mirrodin.
Max, yeah.
Yeah. Is there something we can do to keep Marius out? I don't trust him.
I didn't see anything in the use of that object.
Right, but he has more.
It's specific. You'd need that one to undo this. A second separate one wouldn't do it. Big yawn.
Long day.
If you say so.
Do we have like a key?
Other than
That is a
the
key.
like crystal-y thing that you were holding?
Yeah. Or did it like when we did it disappear, or do we
No.
still have
No,
the same key?
you still have it,
we,
yeah.
we have to
We
draw
just
it
retrace
backwards
it
for
with
it
the
to.
same key.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
Understood.
That is how it works.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. Mirrodin says, other than that, stay by their side and lock the door.
Okay.
If you're concerned. But Marius is certainly slimy. I don't know what he would... I don't know why he would want to hurt Hunter or do anything to Hunter.
Why would he want to give us this then? I'm just not sure why.
I mean, it's a problem and we needed a solution. The more likely he is to like make himself seem useful, the better for him.
Barrow is only recently as involved in the rest of the kingdom as they are.
I'm sure he's got a lot of baubles and trinkets that could solve a lot of problems at any given moment.
A safe
All right.
assumption.
He does stink though, right? He like has a
Friggin'
smell.
stinks.
Smells, dude.
Smells like somebody like farted formaldehyde.
I'm going to
I don't know
release
what
the
that
spell
is.
now.
Before you release the spell, I want to kind of like test the barrier. So is it like solid? Like you poke
Mhm.
your finger against it, it's completely solid.
Yeah,
It's not
it
like
does feel
jelly.
completely solid.
Gotcha. And I want to release, like my channel divinity. Try and push like fear magic into it. Can magic pass through it?
Interesting question. What kind of magic is it?
So it's part of my like paladinness,
Yeah.
where I essentially like push out a force my own like a force of my own will outward. If I try to will Hunter to be feared, because it would be like anybody I choose within 30 feet or whatever. But if I try and
Yeah.
focus on Hunter and affect them with this, does magic pass through the barrier? I guess is the question.
I think you get the impression that in that case it does.
But spells perhaps don't.
Hard to
Like
say.
what happened to the protection from evil and good? Because that's a
So you
concentration
cast that.
spell.
Right, so you cast that before the circle was drawn, but it does feel like it's still active.
Okay, it doesn't get like cut.
It does not get cut. Protection from evil and good does not get cut. No.
Well, I just know that assuming Hunter isn't in their right mind, could they shoot something at us?
I don't think that physical magic would be able to pass through.
Sounds good.
Based on what I saw.
Right. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Twinkie, winky, eggs and bacon.
And Mirden kind of releases a fist that you didn't realize was clenched this entire time. Holds up a fist and then like relaxes the hand. And Hunter, come back to your perceptions. I think you have a vague sense that I think you felt a faint touch and you maybe heard the vague echoings of what sounded like Max's voice telling you everything was going to be okay. You are no longer in the council chamber. You are in your own bed. And standing across from you are Mirden and Wayne and Max.
When Hunter comes back to themselves, they definitely kind of like jerk and look over. And I think there's like a split second where they realize they're in their room. They think that was just a bad nightmare. None of this happened. And then they focus on the three of you standing there and just freeze.
I think you would also notice that the spikes on your arm are still out, although I think as you look down at them, they do start to retract. The blood remains.
And at that point, Hunter no longer is meeting anyone's eyes or really looking at anyone who's standing there. They're just looking down at their arm and they just quietly ask, "Is he dead?"
Sadly, no. But I would like to know what happened. Why? Well, what specifically happened? I am well aware of why someone would want to kill Mansardine.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same thing.
he was talking about things that he doesn't understand at all.
Classic Mance.
And I was just so angry.
There have been reports of conflicts with the Orn to the east. Some settlements on the edge of the Heartwood.
What sort of conflicts?
By reports, massacres.
Whose reports?
Does it make sense?
It doesn't. And the reports come from survivors, mostly. Missives and letters submitted. I only learned about this minutes before Hunter was summoned. I tried to stall for time. I said that Hunter would be able to provide insight into the Orn and their culture and their ways. Mance is, after... I'm not really sure. War, maybe? That's what he was
Whatever will
advocating
make
for.
him rich.
I'm afraid surviving this attack isn't going to hurt his case.
So I only know a little bit about the Orn from our enforcer Torn. We got quite close, and I understood that it's your connection with Ak is not something that goes away no matter where you are. So do you feel like it was your connection with Ak that brought about this rage, or do you think maybe something else has wormed its way into your brain?
I don't think it's exactly either of those. This wasn't the first time I felt anger, and that time I knew it wasn't mine. That time I did know it was Ak. But something is wrong. Something is happening. Something. I went out riding with Callisto. I've never seen him start fading so fast. Mirrodin, is it possible that someone or something is hurting Ak, and that is what is happening here?
We should speak outside.
What do you mean?
The three of us should speak outside.
Why?
That doesn't make any sense.
Because if we are going to form theories and plans, they should stay with us.
Max, I mean, if you want to stay and make sure Hunter doesn't go anywhere, that's cool. I can step outside.
I think Max turns to Hunter and says, I'll stay if it helps.
That's up to you, Max.
Did you speak in minds, Mirden?
I can see you.
Crack the door.
Then speak outside. Yep. Amazing Foley work. And
Yeah, well done.
Dude, that sound like every other session.
Yeah, you do.
it's true. And I say
Got a
amazing
lot of
Foley work every
practice.
time because it is. You step outside, and Mirden shuts the door behind you, and says, "Yeah, I think I know what is happening."
What?
Is that Max? You're not there.
I'm not? Oh, okay.
Did you come?
I thought you
Did
stayed in
come
the
outside?
room. Did you come outside?
Were you gonna crack the door?
No, we're going
No.
outside.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He doesn't do that.
We're all just standing there, like looking at each other, then looking at Hunter, then looking at each other.
All right, fine. Yeah, if you're not gonna crack the door,
No,
I'll stay
he
inside.
doesn't. Okay.
So rude.
Hunter is connected to the spirit of this world itself, spirit known as Ak. And the Danan don't age. They don't have a concept of time or its passing. But there was one among them who was fond of playing the eldest.
Dugda?
On your world, yes.
He's supposed to be the father, right?
Again, by the stories of your world.
Hmm.
Here, he was just another one of them, but what made him so dangerous? They all had their interests, their fixations, and his was for Ak. He subjugated it, controlled it, in the most twisted way possible. But if you control Ak, then you control the On. And I fear that may be what's happening in the East.
And what may be happening to our friend in the other room.
Yes.
Hmm.
And how deep that control runs, how strong that connection, it's hard to say. Because while we don't know for sure, logic would dictate that if you're connected to Nuada, and Max is connected to the Raven Queen, the Morrigan, then Hunter may be connected to the Dagda.
Hmm. Would it benefit to try and have Hunter, or would we benefit if Hunter kind of reached out while they're locked up in a cage?
If we could trust Hunter, perhaps.
It's true, and we don't want to like connect brains with him, just in case.
Yes.
That's a toughie. When can we get word of what's going on? Was it in the west? Or was it in the east?
The East.
When
On
could
the
we get
border.
word from the east? I mean, is there a way to quickly get reports, or just from these survivors?
There's the Henge.
Hmm.
I think if we can verify perhaps that what happened to Hunter was an isolated incident, one that we have contained, I think our best bet would be to try to convince the council to send the four of you east. Try to make contact and investigate.
It's a good idea.
I think the council may be eager to adopt that, at least as an initial alternative to Mance's war. Nobody wants to start a conflict. Not with the On.
And you're also getting a dangerous individual that you really have no idea whether or not you could keep locked up out of your city.
Correct.
Worst comes to worst, Hunter kills all of us. But I'm sure the people on the council will be much more worried about themselves than, 3 other adventurers out in the wild.
We have a series of questions to answer first. 1, is Hunter in control? And if so, why is Hunter in control? And if so, how do we keep Hunter in control? And if we can answer those, we may have a plan.
And if Hunter can't necessarily be in control, is there a way to, at least temporarily, separate or sever their connection? Like, can we put a tinfoil hat around their head or something?
Honestly, I don't know. And I don't think anyone does. Because what Hunter has done in bonding with the On Arc, with forging this connection, no other human has ever accomplished. In to the On, to be separated from Arc is to die.
Well, how do you think we go about answering these questions?
Research. A lot of late nights, I'd imagine. If your friend that lives above the library is free, I may ask you to enlist his help.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I got a B plus in chemistry because I had to do like a lot of studying. So I'm, used to spending some time in the library. I lied. I got a B minus, but I'm still ready to crack a book if you need some help.
Hmm. I will begin looking into it as soon as I can, but before that, there are other fires that I have to put out.
Hmm.
There are going to be some that take what Hunter did today as absolute proof, and there are going to be calls for justice. And I will do what I can to delay that.
How much of this do you think we could tell Hunter?
For now, I wouldn't mention any of it.
Best we can say is we're gonna keep you in a bubble for a while. Okie dokie. Do you want to head
Shit.
back in, or do you need to go and take care of some fires?
I'm going to go stop putting out fires. But, Wayne, Max needs to be smart about this.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to listen to me. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. He wouldn't even come out of the room. We're gonna have to lay down some hard truths. But we're kind of in a war right now.
You should keep the key.
All right.
And Mirrodin is going to sigh heavily and give one look back at the closed door, and then start walking back towards the council chambers, or at least in that general direction.
Can I ask, who is our friend above the library?
That is where Ryan was living.
Oh, okay. Because I remember he's gone, right?
He is
He and
gone.
other
Yep.
Hunter are gone.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but Mirrodin doesn't know that.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I open the door and go back inside.
Before you go
Oh, I
back
don't do that.
inside, while you were talking outside,
Oh, right.
I'm curious.
That was incredible.
Other people
Yeah.
play in the game. That's right.
I'm curious if Max and Hunter have just been sitting in complete silence that whole time.
Max is just imitating the door sound over and over again. Can't do it right. Just like er.
Right, because that's not the actual door sound. That's just the sound that Wayne makes every time he opens a
Yeah.
door.
It's like when you go
The
to
door
an
needs
open door,
so
you're
oil
like,
on the
knock,
hinges.
knock.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so good. How is he so good at that? Yeah. I think Max is just standing right at the edge of the wall, I suppose. And just says, you know, I wasn't there to see it, but I'm sure it was awesome. And it probably felt pretty good. And probably pretty bad. But sometimes you can't control yourself.
I was just thinking that you've been so worried, Max, that you might do something to hurt me. You never thought that I might be capable of doing the same sort of thing to you.
I'm still not really worried. It wouldn't be too bad. Pretty sick way to die.
Max, I don't want to hurt you.
I know. But that wasn't you, was it?
I don't know. I felt that anger, and it wasn't just from Ak. I think some of it was mine as well.
How did it feel? To take control of your anger. Or I guess, let it run.
And it felt like a spark that caught fire and grew and grew and grew until it was an inferno. But I don't think I made the choice to hurt him. Maybe I did.
Doesn't really matter now. The thing is, what you did or what you didn't do, it just is now. And I know what it's like to kind of lose yourself to that. Maybe it's not exactly the same. Maybe it is. But I don't want you to feel like you should feel bad.
I do feel bad, Max, because that's the worst possible thing that I could have done. People like him are so good at just putting that bait right in front of you. And they push and they push and they push. And they wait to see you explode, and then they use that as proof that they were right all along. And no one sees that. They just see the aftermath, and it makes that person look like they were right. I came in there to provide testimony that this is out of character for the Orn, and instead, I tried to kill one of the members of the council. That's all
But
anyone is going to see.
That's not what everyone sees. And it's something that we're going to prove is false. We know it's not in character. So we're going to find the truth. Also, for someone who puts out bait so much, you'd think at one point, at some point, somebody's going to take it. And now he's going to be scared of you. And that's going to feel pretty damn good.
Hunter,
Yes.
as Max says that, I wonder. I can't help but wonder
Oh God, what have I done?
when Max says that. Hunter, do you maybe remember a time in another life when you were scared of Max Miller? Everything Max is saying about everything you were saying, first of all, about people who hold things in front of you and push until you can't take it anymore. And everything about how good it must have felt and how now he's going to be afraid of you. Maybe hits a little close to home. Yeah, a lot of flashes of, homoerotic shoving against the locker, for sure, yeah.
No, I actually, I think that is exactly what is going through Hunter's head, and I think that's why when Max says that, it's clear in their body language they don't like those words. And they just look at Max and say, Max, I never wanted Mance to be scared of me. I don't want to use violence to make people do what I want them to do or feel a certain way around me. That's what a bully would do.
I think at that Max probably takes a step back. And is probably quiet for a while. and then just says, "You're right. But sometimes we don't have a choice."
Hunter, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Fuck. Oh,
That's a
God.
13.
Okay. Do you want to use an advantage from the pool?
No,
Could use an advantage from
there is
that.
like such a low percentage, and I'm going to get higher than that because my charisma is a 0.
Mhm. Fair enough. All right. Ah, boy. All right, Hunter. Max says that, and the anger comes flooding back. How dare he? How dare he say that he didn't have a choice? You were kids. You weren't like fighting for survival or trying to save the world. You were just kids. That is what floods your system now. But I think in this case, I'm not going to say that you are compelled to any specific action or anything like that. I will leave it up to you. We can also do this above the table. Whatever you're more comfortable with.
No, I'm fine with this. Hunter stands up and takes a step towards Max and looks him dead in the eye in a way that they usually don't, because they generally do everything they can to avoid eye contact. And they look furious. And they say, "Is that what you tell yourself, Max? Is that how you justify everything that you did? Is that what lets you sleep at night? That you tell yourself you had no choice? You had to terrorize me? You had to terrorize so many of us? That was the only way you could feel powerful? But it was okay because sometimes you need to? You didn't need to do that, Max. You never needed to do that to any of us. You didn't have to exercise that power and control and terror. Do you know how many days I thought about just not going to school because I didn't want to run into you? Because I didn't know if that would be the day that you, I don't know, tried to shove me into a locker? And for what? What was the purpose? You didn't need to do any of that. Your survival wasn't built on it. And they slam their fist against the wall and say,
No, you go ahead. I'll fill in a second.
Yeah. And they say, "You can justify it all you want, but that's not going to fix what you've done."
Hunter, it's not until you finish saying that you look at Max's face and you see that Max isn't looking at you. Max, your eyes are drawn to where Hunter slammed their fist into the barrier. Ripples go out across what seems like empty air as they collide with something solid. Hunter, you follow Max's gaze down to your arm, where you see that your fist is resting on the solid, invisible wall of the barrier. And there are spikes protruding from the patch of bark on your arm. And that is where we're going to take a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go away.
Everything is fine, actually.
Everything is fine. Bottomest, as my tattoo says.
Yeah.
True. So
I'm trying to unplug myself.
yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure. What's up?
I mean that's what's up. You're looking at you just got
Demolished.
you just got demolished by
Absolutely
Hunter,
obliterated.
and yeah, both of you. I think there's just a moment of silence as you just look at the spikes. In this case, you start to focus Hunter. And they start to pull back.
I think Max takes a step forward and says, I would never ask you to forgive me. I know what I did. But I'm also not scared of this thing, this part that is showing itself. I know it's not necessarily you, but even if it was,
You know, Max, right now, that whatever is happening to me is what I should be the most afraid of, but it's not. What I'm the most afraid of is hearing you say what you just did. Because it scares me that you haven't changed as much as I thought you did.
my entire identity has always been based in anger. I don't know if that's why the Raven Queen chose me or if that's why I was born into it. I keep trying to change.
And I thought you had. I mean, you. Max, there have been so many moments where I've seen you be different than you used to be, where you've channeled that anger into helping others. I mean, you jumped off a cliff to save me. But then I hear you say things like it being a good thing that Mance would be afraid of me, and that's not what you do with bullies like him. You don't become the worst bully. And you don't revel in others being afraid of you. That makes you just as bad as they are.
I don't know. I If that's true, then I don't know. I'm just not sure what the alternative is here.
And you hear a trademark. The door opens.
Man, we really got to get some oil on these hinges. It's
God,
freaking
that's so
crazy.
Good. Wayne, it's probably, I mean, you have a passive perception of 9, but it's probably pretty evident that you walked in the middle of something.
You guys weren't gonna like kiss the bubble where like each other's lips were? It would almost be like kissing each other. Or like do that thing where one of you puts your hand up against it and then the other person puts their hand up against it. Does anybody else go through awkward situations with humor? So anyway, anywho, I don't want to go about this as if Hunter, you're not in the room. You know, not that you are the problem or that you're something that we need to deal with. I
I'm
think,
currently in a container.
I mean, you could like try and attack us, but I don't want to be like
Sure.
Mirrodin Wilt and walk out of the room and act as if you're someone you're not like a rational adult. That being said, right now, we're worried about how to get out of this situation. I think our best bet is to leave. It's
They're gonna let me do that?
probably not. Like, probably not right now. But that's something that we're going to be working on over hopefully the next day or so, and convince the council members that it is in their best interests for us to take you away from the city. And then I think from there we can kind of figure it out as we do. I know Kelly's kind of probably getting to dessert right about now, so I'm sure she'll be able to help us out when she gets back. But I think right now, we're gonna have to do a lot of hurry up and waiting. Mirrodin thinks that we may be able to convince the council members that again that they're better off just sending you out of town. And our hope is to go and seek out the Orn. We don't know what the problem is, but there are a lot of problems going on with the Orn out in the east or the west. I keep forgetting which one it is.
East.
East. I had it right the first time.
West.
West. There are a lot of problems going on in the east that I think, I'm sure you and I both want to tend to however we can. So my mind is the goal right now is to get us the hell out of this city. If you're amenable to sit in a bubble for a little while until, they agree to let us take you away, then that's kind of my thought on that. But what do you think about that, Hunter? I mean, it's your life we're talking about.
I mean, it doesn't sound like I have a choice. If I say that I don't want to be in this bubble, am I just going to be let out?
No.
Good. I think that's the right call.
Thank you. I keep hearing, or they think for whatever reason that you may be not in your right mind, but I think as far as we can, I want to trust you. I mean, you're our friend. You've been our friend. We've traveled together. We've, saved the world together. I'm just thankful that you're ready to, or that you're willing to work on this and not making rash decisions that could make everything a whole lot worse in matters of moments.
You mean
like
like I
other
just did?
people. Well, that's like one time for you, We got other people who have like way more tallies on the board.
Who?
Kelly's not even here to defend herself.
Baby bird, this is VP to baby bird. Max, ultimately what I'm trying to say is that Hunter is okay with it. Can you be okay with hurrying up and waiting?
Yeah. It's fine.
Cool. Because I think, we're just not going to be able to solve everything tonight. And that's okay. And we're not going to be leaving your side. I may need to spend some time in the library hitting the books, as I am wont to do.
When? I don't think I've ever seen you read a book.
Shut up. All the time. You're just not, you're not looking. You've been really sleepy lately, so you probably haven't even noticed. One thing that I think Mirden and I didn't really talk about, but I think might be good. I mean, you have a connection to Hawk. What if you just tried to tap into that anger? It's welling up inside you right now, whether or not you have control over it. You're in a bubble. You can't really go anywhere. You can't hurt anybody. Why don't you maybe dive into that well? If you want,
For what purpose?
You said that you don't know if it's Ak or whatever it is that is maybe pushing you in this direction. What if you went, face to face with the mirror, and shattered it, and looked and saw what was behind it?
There's no mirror in here.
The mirror in your brain, ding dong.
There's no mirror in my brain.
I think if I were to do that, neither one of you should be around. And they look over at Max as they say, you can do plenty of damage with words.
Yeah, I can agree to that. could I leave behind a Borkus, or would that be too intrusive? For your own protection, not for, anything else.
I mean, as long as he's not in here with me, I can't imagine what I could say to hurt Borkus.
Well, I'm just thinking, and this is a terrible thought, but like, let's say you like dive into your brain and then like a bunch of like vines explode out of you and you like, I don't know, become like a giant vine monster and like blood and acid and all that stuff comes like spewing out of you. And we're standing outside the door and thinking, I hope everything's going all right in there.
Max just nodding to everything
Just
that
in
we just
case.
described.
It's true.
We're in untreaded territory here.
He makes a lot of good points.
He makes a lot of good points. Just quietly, just
Hunter,
A
I
man
think
of-
is really feeling Kelly's absence right now.
Yes.
A man of average
I
intelligence.
was like, shit, I didn't even think about that. That's true.
Or we could just be outside. Whatever, if you even want to do it, you don't have to do it. I mean, we could just hang out for a day and see what happens. And if they don't let you leave, maybe we'll just fucking break you out. But
I don't think that would be you were just saying not to do anything rash.
yeah, but that's if they say no, right? So the idea is that we want them to give us leave the city, everybody goes on their own way, and we go figure it all out with their pass. But we're leaving this city either fucking way. So if they decide to say no, then we're gonna go. If they decide to say yes, we're gonna go. It's just how easy it'll be to leave the city and how easy it'll be to come back in.
It's whether they make the right choice or not.
Okay, but what would be the consequences? If you break
Well-
me out, what are the consequences? Because at that point, I'm a fugitive and you all are helping with that, and what is that going to say about the Orn? What sort of stories are they then going to be telling? And what are we going to be reinforcing for them? Because I've already done enough damage and I don't want to do more.
I don't think it helps to sit around in a room, though, in a bubble, while they discuss what to do with your people. At least if you're out there, we can solve what's going on, fix it.
And we could come back to a declaration of war.
Or we could sit here and they could make a declaration of war.
And breaking out is the last idea. We're gonna try and make this work as much as we can until, we may have to break you out. But my mind is too like, obviously we're not there, and we don't have contacts out there that I would like. We're just hearing that the Orn are doing this, that, and the other from the supposed survivors of what's happening, right? But let's say hypothetically, the Orn are doing what we're hearing. Now, you have your own experience with the Orn that I know. Y'all don't do this. So if it is happening, then something is causing it to happen. So whether or not those in this city decide that a war needs to happen, we've got to figure out what's going on with the Orn. Because there's got to be something wrong there. And we may be the only people who, can solve it.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Where is he, by the way? Your teammate.
I don't know. Where might my teammate Torin go? A thought bubble slowly.
Yeah, where did my sibling go?
Yeah.
It's a great question. You left Calderon behind and ventured north to eventually get to Barrow.
Mhm.
Believe the rest of your team, the Raging Mammoths, stayed behind.
So they're in Calderon.
Last time you checked.
Cool.
I just wonder if maybe he's felt a shift of any
That's a
kind.
great idea. It's a good idea there, Max. You know, after this, we'll probably want to go ahead and put out some feelers, see if we can't find him.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
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 It's a
A plan
plan.
emerges. For now, what is the rest of your plan for the more immediate future?
I
like
think
what?
you guys might, stay together for the night. Max, you can just kind of watch out.
Isn't it like 11 a.m.?
Is it?
Pretty early.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah. It was pretty early.
Well, I don't know how much help I'll be, but right now, Wilt is kind of just doing what politicians do. And my mind is that bureaucracy is probably going to take some time while they, diddle each other around until they make some decision about something. So I don't think we can do a whole lot in the present moment.
I mean, didn't you say you were gonna hit the books?
I was just going to say, I don't know what kind of change I can make, but I'm going to try. I'm going to hit the library and maybe I'll bring back some books here. And Hunter, if you want to, do some light reading while you're in there, then you might be able to help out too. And Max, if you want to, there probably are some coloring books that haven't been finished. If you want to, we'll find you some crayons. We'll,
I can read.
Yeah, sure you can.
in a
So, well,
while.
so yeah, I mean, that's kind of my thought. We're do a little bit of research, try and stay out of the way. I'm just gonna let Mirrodin know if there are things that can be done. We're here to help. But right now we're kind of doing what we can until we get an answer. And maybe you'll try and reach out to Ak or whatever's in the back of your mind doing scary fucky shit or not. Whatever you think is right. But I don't have any control over that.
Okay. So Wayne, you are going to go to the Grand Library.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Max, what are you doing?
Not going to the library.
He blows in the air and makes like a heart out of the mist.
On the invisible wall.
You fog up the invisible wall. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know what Max is going to do. I think stick around for now and just kind of see.
Okay. Well, I think that's very fair. Wayne, you leave Calderon Keep. Well, actually, before we do that, I forgot to ask Hunter, are you planning to do anything?
I think once Wayne has left, probably after Max and them have been sitting in awkward silence for way too long, they do say, maybe Wayne is right. And I can't do anything else from here, but if I can lean into that anger, maybe I'll get some sort of indication, something that we could go off of, and so I think you should give me the room for, I don't know, 30 minutes. Because I don't want you to be caught in the crossfire again.
Crossfire doesn't bother me,
It bothers
but
me.
I will leave. I'll be right outside. So yell if you need anything. And if it's anything like mine, it does help. And I guess Max closes the door and leaves.
What does that sound like?
It sounds like, wait.
Nailed it.
Amazing.
No notes. All right, you leave and you shut the door. I think we're actually going to start with Hunter. Are you doing that pretty much immediately after Max leaves? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne, it's going to take you a little while to walk across the city. You leave Calderon Keep, go down the huge stairs and out through the gates, out into Calderon proper, and start making for Calderon Square, which is
As I'm doing that, just before, on my way out, I want to just tell like a little messenger boy to go let Mirrodin will. I'm sure there's somebody around. Somehow they have to get messages across the keep.
Yeah, there's a little
I'm an
messenger
important person, boy. No, I'm just kidding. But just find some way to let Mirrodin Wilt know that, hey, I'm better at maybe social talking whatnots and politics than I may be at reading books. So if there's anyone that I could talk to, or any other place that I could be in other than a library, I may you may benefit more. But for now, you can find me in the library.
Okay, very cool. You head for the Grand Library. You send a little messenger boy off to speak to Mirrodin Wilt. Hunter. The door closes behind Max, leaving you alone in this room. What are you doing?
Hunter is following Wayne's recommendation that they see if they can tap into that anger. Because they remember on the hill, they knew that Ak was angry, but they didn't know why. And so their first thought is to see if they can reignite the anger that they've been feeling, and then see what they can parse out, if anything, through that. And so I think they are purposefully bringing up some of those same exact memories that just came up about their experiences in school involving Max. They're bringing up all of the bigoted and prejudiced things that Mance said, and similar things that they've heard in the past. And I think they're also thinking about Simon and how angry they are over that, and how betrayed they still feel that Max had the faith he did in Simon. And they are trying to see if they can get that same sort of anger back, and then figure out what belongs to them and what doesn't.
Okay. So you sit on your bed and you start reaching for that anger that you know is in you. And the last few times this has happened, it's been like a fire starting. Like Hunter, not not immune to anger, not immune to feeling all of the pain from those moments, but when it has been grown recently, it's stoked. It starts small and then it builds like it's being fed. And as you reach for it, you kind of you think about all these horrible things that you've been through, all of the pain and the injustices and the cruelty that you've experienced, all of the people that have hurt you, and the anger is there. But when you feel it start to build, it's almost like an engine sputtering, trying to start. You kind of feel it grow, and then you feel it fade, and it kind of ebbs and flows. But it doesn't quite reach the level you felt any of those times that it has taken over. And as that happens, you feel a strange sensation over your body. Starts on like one shoulder and kind of moves across your back and to the other one. Almost like a almost like a skittering. And you hear like a tiny little voice in your ear. It's not really there, but you hear it say, "Protect." I think you recognize the presence, the touch of your Dreamweaver.
And Hunter is a bit thrown off because the first thing they think is being helpful now at a time that does not feel unhelpful and not helpful at those moments where they needed it to be. And they just say, "Stand down. I don't need your protection right now."
I think a little sadly, almost even though you didn't say this, almost as if it knows, it says, "Tried." Voice sounds smaller.
I appreciate that. You did the best you could. And right now I need to ask you to let whatever is about to happen happen.
Protect. Bad. Bad.
What's bad? What are you protecting me from?
Control.
I'm okay with losing control right now.
Control. Not feelings. Self.
What are you afraid is going to happen?
Control. Lose self.
But I haven't lost myself.
Protect.
You weren't able to stop it before, and I didn't lose myself then, so why am I going to lose myself now?
Protect. Anger. Anger. Strong. Too much. Can't protect, but trying.
If I ask you again to stop protecting right now, can you? You won't be failing if I've asked you to do it.
If stop, can't start. No more.
What happens when there's no more?
No more you. No more me. Still body. No mind. No dream. Starve.
Are you saying that every time I lose control, that's a possibility? That I just don't come back?
You get the impression that it is like focusing really hard to get a full thought across. Not just the sort of like idea snippet here and there that it has been. Like it's draining really hard. And it says, if I protect, bad thing doesn't get in. Anger is so strong. Can't eat it all. Bad. Dreams good. Anger bad.
You said the bad thing can't get in. Are you saying that the bad thing is then outside of me?
Protect.
It's not what's been here with you the whole time?
No.
Thank you. You've done good work.
Trying. Not strong enough. Need stronger.
What would be stronger?
Dreams good. Memories better.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Stronger. Protect. Also, hi, thanks for the raid, Tales from the Table Studios. We're in the middle of a big drama, but like, when are we not?
Are you saying that if I choose to feed you with my memories, that you would be stronger, maybe strong enough to do more?
Strong. Protect.
Do I just choose one and hand it over to you?
Choose. Remember. I take.
Are there certain types of memories that are more helpful than others?
You sense some hesitation. Almost sadly, it says. Good ones.
And Hunter nods because they knew that was coming. If this is the antidote to anger, giving memories of more pain, Doesn't seem like it would be helpful. And I think Hunter takes a deep breath and says, all right, let's get started. And they choose to think about when they were 5 years old. And it was their first time ever riding a horse. And the sheer delight and freedom that they felt.
And it is a strange feeling. You close your eyes and you inhabit this memory. And you feel all of it so viscerally. You feel the wind in your hair, the jolt of the horse's feet making contact with the earth, the smells, the sounds, the sheer joy. And you are living in this memory, inhabiting this space, and then one corner of it folds in, and then another, and it starts compacting. It starts sort of crumpling, and as it does so, there's just like this emptiness behind it. You see where the memory was as it's being folded up smaller and smaller, the spindly, semi-transparent figure of the Dreamweaver spider that lives inside of you. And it's using those long, very delicate legs, just folding the memory very carefully, smaller and smaller. And then holding it between the two foremost legs, starts to wrap it in thread, a web, a strand of web that sort of shimmers and shines as if there was light reflecting off of it, even though there is none. And it's very careful, very delicate in this process. It holds it almost reverently when it finishes. It looks at you with all of its eyes, almost gives you a nod, and like a decisive nod, and says in that same voice, protect. And sort of slings that webbed cocoon of your memory onto its back and skitters off into the darkness. And you come back out of that. There is the first thing you feel is it's like taking a deep breath when you come up for air after you've been underwater for so long. A breath that you didn't even realize that you were holding. There's a weight that has been pressing on your chest for who knows how long building, and you were so used to it that you didn't even realize it was there. You don't feel it now. You don't feel this building anger. This thing waiting. But you do feel a little bit emptier in a way that you can't put your finger on. And I think that is where we're going to end the session tonight. We did
boy.
it. We did it.
Yay! We did it!
Yay. So good. Everybody's feeling good. Everybody had a good time.
You
Good old time.
could easily feed this session to the spider. You know?
That's how good of a time it's been.
Great memories.
Better than the beach
Absolutely.
episode.
Better than the beach episode. Love that for us. How great. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope you had a good time. I know, I think I speak for all of us when I say we certainly did.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I think we've had a great time tonight.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. We're gonna
Yes, we
disappear just
have.
a second. We have. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have.
No need to convince
have.
me. I'm feeling great. Oh boy. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna disappear in just a second, but before we do that, we'll go around and we'll tell you a little bit about what we got going on. We will tell you where you can find us, all that good stuff. In the same order as before, starting with JD. You got anything that you're doing? You doing anything?
You know, ironically, currently emotionally devastated, but actually really quiet week this week. I'll be back here tomorrow night to finish up with the finale of Shadows Between the Stacks, Harvest Echoes, where I will get to torture players, and it will be a good time. I am then off until we're back for Academy H on Sunday, so it's a pretty quiet week, and that is not how the rest of this month is shaping up, but that is fine. We'll get to that when we get to that. Maybe with Cold Iron next week when I can finally announce some things.
Amazing. What a quick JD outro. JD on Jason Dean and all the stuff. Where are you these days? What stuff are you on?
I mean, I'm on all of the stuff, but we all know that.
We do. That's fair. Okay. Raph.
Hello, I'm Raph. I played Max Miller tonight. Known bully through and through, forever, never changed. I will not. That's the wrong calendar. I don't think I'll be back this week. I genuinely don't know anymore. I will be back next week on Tuesday for Cold Iron, which is a great little Changeling the Lost game, where we're having a good time. You know, everything's cool, everything's good. And then
And you
will
have
be
your
back
paintbrush.
also.
Don't forget
And I
your
have my
paintbrush.
paintbrush. I did get
The
to. I have my
paintbrush fucked me
paintbrush.
up, I'm not gonna lie.
I do my little paintbrush. I'm ready to do some art. I had a wonderful time, a little vacay in the morgue. And then on next Thursday, I will be back for Redacted, which is JD's homebrew psychological horror / thriller game. Very fun. And I think that's it for now. Right?
Sounds
I'm
right.
not sure. I don't know anymore.
I don't know your schedule, Raph.
I don't know. There's other stuff, but not now.
Fair enough. Cool. Hello, I'm Julia, the local Delaware cryptid. Normally you can find me here. I'll be back on Sunday for Academy H, but before that, I will be back tomorrow night, Wednesday night, for the finale of Shadows Between the Stacks Harvest Echoes, where I will once again be Haley Holly Hollis.
Triple H.
Is that
Triple
it?
H. Just go
Is
with
it
Triple
Haley
H.
Holly Hollis though?
I think so. I would honestly have to look at the sheet. I don't know what order the names go in.
Amazing. Triple H. I think I got it right, probably. I think I nailed it. I'll be back for that, and then I'll be back for Academy H on Sunday, where I play Lyra Krull, aka Bethel, who uses the Janus playbook. But that's it for me. I'm lurking in the Discord and whiling on whatever social media still exists.
Honestly, that was better than the door. That's exact right there.
Hell yeah. Wayne, Corey and Wayne.
Hey, hi, I'm your local Delaware cryptid. No, hi, I'm Corey. I've played Wayne Hovacek. And you can catch me on this show in 2 weeks, and then again 2 weeks from then, and then again 2 weeks from then. You can also catch me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at X. Tweet at me; it'll give me a reason to tweet, 'cause I'm really bad about it.
Also,
Yeah.
Also-
you're on a bunch of Academy H episodes that are coming out right
currently
now.
on a bunch of Academy H episodes that have. The first episode came out this past
Yesterday?
Monday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. So yeah, go check those out. I play the character Extra, who's a lot of fun to play, and it is a very fun and funny set of episodes. So come, check, hang out, watch that
All
episode.
laughs.
Oh
All
yeah, we laughed the
laughs.
entire way through.
All laughs, no tears. Check those out, and then
Just
because those will be so
hee-haws.
wonderful, you'll want to go ahead and check the show out live this Sunday.
That is true. Yeah, we will be recording that show live. Speaking of which, hi, I'm still Will, one of the storytellers and the organizers here at Live from the Apocalypse. And yeah, we will be back on Sunday. I will not be back for anything else this week until Sunday. We will be recording a couple of new episodes of Academy H. I went nuts and cataloged like everything, which is wild. We've made a lot of Academy H. We're going to make a lot more probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, listen to it if you want to. There are a bunch of episodes out, including the most recent one, which features Corey and is really, really very good. The next one's going to be really, really very good too, and so on and so forth. And then I'll be back for Changeling the Lost as well, Changeling Cold Iron as well, where I play not a monster, Kolya Smirnov. Just a mechanic, just a good mechanic boy. I think that's. We are going to be starting recording Cryptid Community College Season 2 very soon. We are going to be streaming it. Tomorrow night is actually our test recording, which will not be streamed. But after that, every other Wednesday, you can catch us recording a couple of episodes of that. It's Monster of the Week. It's very fun, and it's the first thing we ever made, content-wise, actually, before LFTA even existed. The first season is out there if you want to listen to it. We did not know what we were doing. It sounds okay. It doesn't sound great. The second season is going to sound great. Pretty much guarantee that. So it's going to be really good. Check it out. Listen to the first season before we start recording the second one. And not this Wednesday, not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday is going to be the first episode of a new Wildcard Wednesday series, which is called Nephilim the River. It is a spin-off that is set in the same universe as our sci-fi game Nephilim that I ran way back when, that Raph was a guest star in for a
Yeah.
bunch of episodes.
First streamed DTRPG.
Yeah, that's true. That was your first LFT thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever ago.
But actually,
Feels like it.
It is gritty near future sci-fi. We are playing, we're using a system called Rust Hulks, which is powered by the Apocalypse. It's really very good, and it is set in a different part of the same system, our solar system, called the Stygian Belt. And it's just a bunch of ne'er-do-wells trying to keep the lights on in their piecemeal ship. by breaking the law every single day of their lives. And check it out. It's got a great cast. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it. So that's everything that we have going on that I have to talk about. I'm going to be regular sized, and we're going to disappear in just a second. We will hop over and raid our friends at Neon Lights Roleplay, who are streaming a game that I don't know anything about, but they do good stuff, and you can say hi, be friendly, please, and thank you. And I think on that note, well, before that, there are a bunch of social links. Some of them still exist as websites, technically, for the immediate future. So follow them while you still can. Get in on the ground floor before they disappear, or you can join our Discord community, which, God willing, is not going anywhere because that's where everything lives.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to disappear, hop over, say hi to Neon Lights Roleplay. Come along, be friendly. Thank you, please and thank you. But on that note, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good
Good night.
night, everybody.